Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Mary Felling, physical therapist. Today I'm going to be showing you a technique to help give some mobility and return flexibility to an area of the back that's just above the hip and below your rib cage. This is called the Quadratus Lumborum, also lovingly known as the QL. I'm going to show you myofascial technique to help open that up, relieve some of the tension in there, make you feel better when you're sitting at your desk, leaning over to do things like at the sink or counter for meal preparation. So what you're going to need for today's technique is a bed, a sofa, a floor, just an open area because you're going to be lying down. You can certainly make sure you're on a soft part of a rug while you're on the floor, or at least get a yoga mat or exercise mat under you so you're comfortable. Do get something to rest your head on, something soft and comfortable, because you'll be on your back for a minimum of 5 minutes. You're going to need a ball. For some of us, it's only going to take a small ball. For others, you'll need a larger ball. If you have a small ball, this is about a 3.5 inch diameter, maybe even, it's about 3 inches. Make sure it has a little squish like this. You don't want to use something like a tennis ball just yet, a softball or a baseball. That's going to be too much when you're first starting in this area because it can be quite tender. But I'm showing you this because it's a great area to work on if you have low back pain. Any kind of strain into the low back can come from the QL being tight and hiking up the hip and creating pressure and tension into the low back. So get a squishy ball. If you don't have one and you have to get up and get that, just pause the video here and then come back and join us. For those of you who do have a ball nearby, let's get started. So the first thing is you want to lie down on your back. Make sure, like I said, you have a pillow under your head to support you. You're going to get on your back. And you want to take your hand and you're going to find the top of the hip bone in the back. So this is not, we're not going to be under here, under the glutes and piriformis. We're right at the back of the hip bone. And that's usually about where your waistline is. You men, you have longer ilia bones, so you might be a little higher than us women. But when you find the top of that, the ball goes right above that. It's almost touching the top of that hip bone, but it's below your rib cage. So you're going to lift up, you're going to put that ball in there. You kind of roll around. You want to find that really tight spot. You can roll all the way over to like about just an inch from the spine. If you're on the spine, you're not injuring yourself, but you can maybe bruise yourself if you have a very tight or hard surface you're on. Once you find that spot, make sure you got your feet a little bit apart just to give you some support. If it feels a little too rough, put a folded towel or a small pillow under the left side so you don't have to work to stay on top of that. For those of you, if you're on it for 10 seconds and you're feeling like, oh, it's already tender, go find something softer. If you don't have a softer ball, just take a washcloth, knot it up very loosely and put it under there. So let's get started. We've got that timer going. Just check your body. Make sure you're nice and soft. You're relaxed over this. Again, it should feel just like you have pressure back there. For some people, this is an area they've never touched before. And the first time they go in, or with my patients, when I'd go in there for the first time, they're very tender. And it's a surprise because it's not an area we generally work on our back. We try to go right over to the middle where back pain is. But when the myofascial restrictions in this QL area, the Quadratus Lumborum, become tight for years and even decades, can put a lot of tension through the hip, and then that translates over into low back pain. So check, you're really relaxed over it. Your breathing is soft. You've melded over that ball or that loosely knotted washcloth. It feels easy. You're breathing easy. This is one of those ones you want to make sure you do both sides. If you do your right, make sure to do your left too. I'm just going to be showing you one in the video today, but you can rewind and go and follow again to do your opposite side. So your ball is just above that hip, top of the hip bone. The ball might be touching a little bit of the top of the hip bone. That's fine. And that's good actually because there's attachment of the muscle there. So you want to get that attachment, that tendon part. And we're here for a minimum of 5 minutes. The John Barnes myofascial release approach is all about low load, long period of time. So we're putting mechanical energy of compression into this area of our body. We're going to do a minimum of 5 minutes because it takes 5 minutes of mechanical energy to start the piezoelectric effect flowing. And that bioelectric flow moves through fascia. And when it comes to areas where there's myofascial restrictions, myo means muscle, the fascia is our fascial web in our body. When the myofascial restriction has been formed because of overuse or repetitive use or poor posture over a long period of time, stress, just having emotional or psychological stress because we're alive on this planet, we're humans, it causes the fascia to bind down and tighten and dehydrate and get sticky. And it can put up to 2,000 pounds of force per square inch in that area. That's a lot of force on pain-sensitive structures. So, of course, we become painful in the area after a while. And we lose our mobility. So when we introduce a mechanical energy, in this case compression, and it's been 5 minutes, we've got that electrical flow going, that electrical flow helps the area that's been bound down and dehydrated to rehydrate, helps it to soften, and helps it to elongate again. And when you do that, it helps remove that compressive, crushing forces on those pain-sensitive structures, like your muscles, nerves, blood vessels, etc. So there's less pain and mobility returns. So check and make sure you're breathing softly, easily, naturally. Make sure your shoulders relax. Make sure the rest of your back is relaxed. If you're tensing because maybe this feels too tight or it's too painful, you need to use something softer in your low back. Check to make sure your feet are kind of apart, maybe a good hip distance or further in width so that you've got a better balance here. And you're not working hard. You know, if our feet are close together and we're up on this ball, we're kind of working hard in the back to stay up there. And that kind of is counterproductive to what we're trying to do. So feet wide apart. You can't be too wide. You can be too close though. And you'll find that spot where, oh, I feel I'm not doing any work. That's what you want. That's what you want. 5 minutes is the minimum. Feel free to stay here for 7 or 8 minutes to continue getting more releases, more softening. And then at 8 minutes, there's a bonus. There's something called interleukin-8 that's released at about 8 minutes. It's our natural anti-inflammatory, and that gets released in the area. So now you've got an anti-inflammatory taking care of any pain and helping to relieve that. All right, so we've got our 5 minutes. Everybody can roll over to the side just a tad, bring that ball out. Unless you want to stay a little longer, get some more releases. And then you're going to go to the other side and then make sure you get that other side taken care of too. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in our next video.